Hey guys, it's Bill from a very toasty Linden, Tennessee. 98 plus a whole bunch of humidity. Makes for a pretty miserable time out in the garage. I wanted to give you a little update on the front end of my little 644 here. I got this all front end apart because this little doohickey, at some point in its life, the little tab that bolted right there unwelded itself. I wasn't exactly sure how that could have happened, but now I'm pretty sure I know what happened. The bushings inside of the front axle, they just seized up. They didn't have any lubrication. And when they seized up, it just ripped that weldment off of this little pin. The pin was stuck to the middle and it just ripped it off. And eventually it caused this thing to sort of stick out. And it was sticking out about a third of the way, probably to where that color brake is. But so the bearings inside the little swing axle were kind of messed up. So I took it to work and bored this out and honed it and put some oilite bushings in there. Oilite bushings are just kind of brass bushings, and I believe they're impregnated with oil. I don't know how they got impregnated. I didn't ask, and I probably don't want to know. And then I was like, "Yay, that's cool!" So then I can put my new pin, my old pin in there, but it only goes in about a third of the way, which is about as far as it went in before I changed those things out. So assuming that this, what do you want? What do you want? Get out of here. Go on. Ugh. Something just came out of its mouth. So assuming that this pin is just, no, it's probably not bent, but it's fatter right in this part than it is in the back part. Yeah. So I went ahead and made a new pin. This is just 1.5 inch chrome rod that I face down to the correct width, length, and drilled a hole through the middle, drilled a hole through the top for a little grease fitting. And on the back side here, I made a 1/2-13 bolt hole, because what's going to happen, possibly, maybe if I need to, this will go in there. It's a pretty good fit. So that'll go in there. And then if I need to, I would imagine these, those plates, I guess I'll call them plates. This front one's probably bent forward, because all the weight was just sitting on that. And I imagine that what's going to happen is that once I get this pin in here in this swing arm, that it's going to be loose, like the wheels will move front to back. So what I'm thinking about I might could do is make a big washer that goes around the front here, and then where that plate is, and then have another washer on the back, and then that nut, and then I can tighten that nut together, and it'll squeeze the frame together. Though this isn't a novel idea, it's not new. You can buy a kit to do this exact same thing, but you know, why buy it if I can make it? And it might not work, and I may end up buying it. I don't know, but we'll see. So that's the plan now. I've got the wheels at the local co-op. They're going to put some tires on it for me. I tried to find some original Firestone tires like this had, but Firestone stopped making them back in the 70s. I did find a couple guys that had some, but I ended up not going there because you know, they're 50-year-old tires, maybe 40, maybe 30, but they're not new. And you know, if I ever had this bucket full of stuff and I was trying to drive across the field or yard or whatever, I'd be worried that, you know, the bucket or the tires will pop because they're old. But so I just bought some new tires. They're just basically trailer tires. They're lame, but they are what they are, and they'll work just fine. So all right, let me see if I can't get this together a little bit, and we'll cut you back on later. All right, guys. Well, that really wasn't all that difficult, and it all went back together just fine. There was a little bit of stuff keeping that pin from coming through on the other side, but I just scraped it off. It was really easy, and we got plenty of movement here, and very, very little side to side. What little that there is, what little play there is inside the bore of this, and at the moment, this bolt and the flange is keeping it straight. So that may or may not last, but if it decides to break, we'll come back and fix it later, do something else. The thing that took the longest of all this is when I went to go and tack this, I forgot to turn the gas on, so it left this nasty porous nastiness. And I thought, oh, I'll just fix it later. You can't do that. You got to start over. You got to clean that stuff out and grind it off, and you'll end up doing it later, which is what I did. So, anywho, one thing I do need to do, I need to go to Harbor Freight and get, they've got a kit of snap ring pliers that are really, really beefy. And I did this at work with that kit of snap ring pliers, but I need to go get my own. So that way I can take this apart. I want to get one of those poor man's power steering kits, and I will at some point, but I'm not too worried about it right now. This is all going to come apart again anyway, I'm sure. One thing I have decided is that I'm not going to really do a whole lot of restoration with this. I'll have to make new motor mounts, of course, and when I do that, I'll just paint them black. This up here that's got new metal on it, from where I welded it, I'll just paint that. I'll probably just, well, I should have done that before I put it together. Should have painted it and let it dry. Paint that, or not. I mean, really, I'm kind of the mind, I'm just going to sort of leave it like this. I think it's a really nice patina. Even the oily nastiness is nice. We'll see how it goes when I'm actually in there doing stuff. If I don't like getting too greasy up to my elbows. But one thing that's kind of fun, look at that. I already got an oil leak. I've never even run pressure through this thing, and it's already leaking oil. I'm sure that they don't all leak oil, right? Like, this is just a, you know, feature of my tractor, and all the rest of them are like nice and tight and don't leak. So, right. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for now. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. See you next time.